How's it going, everybody? Welcome to today's stick mobility class. I am Coach Ray. Thank you for joining me for today. So for today's class, I wanted to make it more of a focus on people who may have either lower back tightness or even a little bit of pain, right? And just want to focus on doing drills that are actually going to be friendly to those. So we're going to do a lot of glute work, a lot of hip work, loosening up the T-spine. We're going to go through everything today. So we're going to get quite a bit of movements in today. So we're going to need 2 long sticks. I'm going to use the rack, or more specifically, the bottom of a rack has something stable for me to press the sticks into, okay? I also have a pad and a bench because we are gonna be in a half kneeling position at some points in today's drills, okay? So, what we're gonna do here, I'm actually gonna go in reverse. So I'm actually gonna start from the top and then work my way down, okay? So usually we start at the feet and ankles first. Let's go ahead and start at the neck, right? So, what I'll do here, I kind of go a little bit of a side profile. And what I want to do is I want to make sure my feet are roughly about shoulder width apart. I want to make sure that the sticks are right bent on the inside of my big toe here, in line with my big toe. So what I want to do from here is I want to create some tension and some stability by locking my body down, and I'm going to drive the sticks into the floor, and I'm going to keep my rib cage down, okay? I want to squeeze my glutes a little bit and drop my knees, okay? Or drop my hips a bit. So I want to make sure everything's stacked. What I'm going to do from here, I'm going to start by simply moving the neck around. So I'm going to pull my chin back as if I'm trying to create a double chin, and then I'm going to tilt my head to my left. And as I do that, I'm going to drive this right stick down a little bit harder to make sure I'm locking that shoulder down so that shoulder's not moving up here. Okay? Good. I'm going to bring it back up to neutral. Ease off, pushing up hard on the right side. Now I'm going to tilt my head to the right and drive that left stick down a little bit harder here. So reflexively, what's happening here is we're pulling that shoulder down and we're actually getting the tissues in the neck to stretch out a bit. Okay? I'm gonna come back to neutral. Gonna do that same thing again. Tilt your head to the right, drive that right stick down a little bit harder. Make sure you're focusing on your breathing here as we go through this. Back to neutral and then tilt to the right. Drive that left stick down a little harder. Good. Ease off and relax. Excellent. So, just loosening up the neck tissue, so now we're going to work on the spine. So I'm going to start with an extension drill with a little bit of rotation here, okay? So, what I'm going to do here, just so my hips aren't moving much, or they're less likely to move, I'm gonna go with a little bit of a wider stance than shoulder width, or quite a bit wider here, okay? So I'll actually go from the front so you can see how wide, okay? Now I'm gonna have both sticks in line with both shoulders here, and I'm gonna have my hands at roughly about shoulder height, okay? Both sticks are angled in just a little bit, okay? What I'm gonna do from here is I'm gonna shift my hips back, drive my hands forward. Good, and I just want to hold this position here for about 20 seconds. And what I'm trying to do here is make sure I'm breathing into the position and loosening up my T-spine. Breathe. Make sure you're balanced on your feet. Slowly come up. Excellent. So we're gonna do that again. This time we're gonna add in a little bit of movement of the sticks. So you're gonna notice that we're gonna get into opening up the chest and shoulders a little bit more here. So we're gonna go back to that same position again. So I'm gonna drive my hips back, reach my arms out. Good. I'm gonna slowly bring my arms outwards away from one another. Okay. And I'm gonna bring them down until they're in line with my shoulders. And I'm gonna hold that position there. Keeping the knees out, don't let them buckle in, okay? Gonna bring them back into that overhead position. Then I'm gonna stand back up. Excellent. Now we're gonna add in some rotation from side to side. So, you guys may be a little familiar with this one. So, Same thing, hands are at roughly about shoulder height. Drive the hips back, okay? And I'm gonna rotate to my left, both hands. Good. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna rotate to my right. Now I'm not moving my low back. The only thing that's moving here is my shoulders and my T-spine. Okay? Good, back to neutral. Rotate to the left again. Just trying to get some movement, okay? Back to neutral. Rotate to the right. Good. Back to center. Slowly come up. Excellent. Okay. Now we're gonna do here, I'm gonna put one stick down, okay? And I'm gonna use the bottom of the squat rack. This is gonna effectively act as a corner of a wall here. So we are gonna work on a bit of rotation here. Only work with the range that you can comfortably handle, okay? So what I wanna do here is I'm gonna get a little close to the wall here. So my right hand or my inside hand, okay, is actually gonna be going across my body here, okay? And what I wanna do is in this position, I wanna make sure that I have enough room here to fully rotate my shoulders. So we're gonna work into this range of motion here. So that outside leg is forward and that right leg is back, but with this inside hand, I wanna make sure that I can actually get clear across my center line, okay? If you have trouble with that, you can always move out a little bit more and adjust as you need to, okay? So what I'm gonna do from here, I'm gonna start with the stick over on this side here, okay? And then I'm gonna slowly bring that stick across my center line, and I'm gonna reach my left hand back to 6 o'clock, and I'm looking to 9 o'clock here, okay? Make sure you focus on your breathing, squeezing that right glute to lock your hips in extension. Then I'm gonna come back up, and I'm gonna go into that 2 more times here. Okay, slowly work into that rotation, reach that left hand back to 6, squeeze that right glute. Good. Back up. Now if I wanna move in a little closer, right, to see if we can get a little bit more rotation here, same thing, slowly move that hand across the body, driving that hand into the corner of the wall, squeeze that right glute, reach to 6 o'clock, look to 9. Focus on your breathing. Good, slowly come back up and ease off, okay? Perfect. So now, we're gonna switch sides, okay? So remember, outside leg is a leg that's forward here, and again, we can adjust as we need to. So, I'm gonna have my left hand on the stick, right leg is forward, I'm loading this front leg, back glute is active, okay? Squeeze that glute. Make sure it's driving hips forward. I'm gonna slowly bring this hand across, reaching my right hand to 6 o'clock, looking to 3, okay? Focus on your breathing. Good, come back up nice and slow. Excellent. We're gonna go back into it again. Slowly bring that hand across your center line, squeeze that glute. Make sure you breathe. Back up. Excellent, moving a little closer to the wall. Good. Squeeze that left glute. Reach back to 6. Good, slowly come out. Excellent, go ahead and ease off here. Okay, perfect. So now what we're gonna do here is we're actually gonna shift over into using the wall. And what I wanna do is I wanna sit my hips back on the wall here, okay? So, with this drill, we've done it to where the stick is in the crooks of our elbows, at our mid back, and we're working on leveraging our hand against our inner thigh. But instead, I want to make sure that I got my hands on the ends of the sticks here, okay, with my palms facing towards the front of my body, okay? And so what I want to do is I want to make sure I figure out the distance that I want to stand at. And from this position here, standing up tall, keeping the stick at mid-back, I want to drive my hips back and hinge forward. So I want to make sure that my hips or my glutes are sitting firmly against the wall here. And this is just to try to make sure that we, again, keep the hips where they're supposed to be. We're not trying to rotate with the hips. We're just trying to rotate that mid-back. So from here, what I want to do is I want to rotate to the left. So I'm going to drive my right hand going forward towards my center line. Make sure you're breathing here. I'm going to slowly come back up into neutral. Now I'm going to rotate the left hand down towards the floor. Right hand comes back. Good. Back to neutral. Nice and slow and controlled. Sitting your hips back still. Rotating and pulling with that right hand. Good. Back to center. Nice and slow. Okay. Rotate that left hand down towards the floor. Good. One more time each way. Good. Rotate to the left. Drive that right hand forward and across. Good. Back to neutral. Pull that left hand across the center line. Good. Back to center. Come up. Nice and slow. Good. Perfect. So now what we're going to do here is we're going to work on getting into the pelvis. So I'm going to take my second stick here, okay? And I'm going to go with a pretty relatively wide stance. I still want to be a little wider in shoulder width. However, the trick is I want to angle my feet out just a little bit here, okay? This just ensures that I can get, again, a little bit of a deeper glute activation, bringing a better connection to the glutes. So we're externally rotating as well as abducting here. So the bottoms of the sticks are in line with my shoulders here. Now what I want to do here, I want to drop into that horse stance, okay? So I'm going to bend my knees. Again, make sure my spine is nice and tall here. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to want to make sure we're controlling the rib cage. So I'm going to drive the sticks into the floor, okay? 30% tension. And I'm going to do a posterior tilt only. So I'm going to tuck my pelvis under, squeeze my glutes, and make sure I'm driving my knees out away from one another. So I'm driving my knees this direction here, okay? Slowly ease off. Good. So keep driving the sticks to the floor. Do a posterior tilt, squeeze the glutes, drive the knees out away from one another. You should feel a bit better glute activation here. Excellent. Ease off. Let's go 3 more. Good. Drive the sticks into the floor, squeeze the glutes, drive the knees apart. Make sure you're gripping the ground with your feet. Active foot position, everybody. Good. Ease off. Let's get 2 more here, okay? So drive those sticks into the floor, control that rib cage, squeeze those glutes, drive those knees away from one another. Make sure you're breathing. Ease off. Good. Last one. Tuck the pelvis, squeeze the glutes, drop the knees out away from one another. Ease off, nice and slow. Good, I'm gonna stand back up. So now I'm gonna have my feet pointed forward. We're gonna move on to lateral tilting here, okay? So remember, as one hip bumps up, the other hip should be dropping, okay? So, just to keep everything uniform, we're gonna drop both sticks into the ground, 30% tension the entire time. So, drop my knees back down, drop both sticks into the floor, okay? I'm gonna do a light posterior tilt, right? Now I'm gonna bump my hips to the right. You should be feeling that right glute activate. Bump my hips to the left. Good, bump to the right. Make sure you're breathing here. Bump to the left. Make sure, again, we're trying to connect to the glutes more. Bump to the right. Excellent. Bump to the left. One more time. Bump the hips to the right. Good. Bump the hips to the left. Good. Back to center. Ease off. Excellent. So, now we're going to grab the pad because you're going to get to a half kneeling position. So, we're going to focus on the hip flexor stretch, but the main aspect of this is we're really trying to focus on getting the glutes active as we can to drive further and further into that range of motion. So, this will actually be the segue into our first strength drill, okay? So, I want to have my left leg forward, my right foot is back, and I'll actually turn to the side a bit so you can see that the ball, my toes and the ball of my foot is into the floor on this right side here, okay, on this back leg. So, I want to have both sticks angled in towards me. I'm going to grip the sticks at shoulder height. Now, what I want to do first, I want to drive both sticks down with about 30% tension, drive that back foot into the floor, squeeze that right glute. And I just want to hold this position because it should be getting a little bit of a stretch and probably in the quad, right? If you're tight there, and also in the front of that hip. Hold. 3, 2, 1 is going to ease off. Excellent. Now what we're going to do, we're going to shift into it, okay? So increase that tension to 50%, drive both sticks down, okay? Drive that back foot into the floor, squeeze that right glute. Now shift your hips forward a bit. Now I should be getting a bigger, deeper stretch. 3, 2, 1. Good. Ease off. Excellent. Let's go one more repetition here. Okay. You should feel like your glute is pretty active here. Really, really active. So, drive that back foot into the floor. Drop the sticks down 50%. Squeeze that right glute. Tuck that pelvis and shift those hips forward. Even more. Get an even bigger stretch here. Good. Slowly ease off and relax. Now we're going to switch sides. I'll actually face forward here. Put my left foot back. Right leg is forward. Okay. Okay. Sticks are angled in towards me. All right. Same thing. Let's go 30% first. Drive both sticks down. Drive that back foot into the floor. Squeeze that left glute. Tuck that pelvis. Good. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Ease off. Nice and slow. Good. Now we're going to up it to 50%. Okay. Drive both sticks down. Drive that back foot into the floor. Squeeze that left glute. Shift those hips forward. You're trying to split those hips here. You're only shifting forward just a little bit. Trying to get a little bit of an increase in stretch. Good. Slowly come out. Ease off. Let's go one more time. Okay? Now we go a little bit further. So 50%, drive the sticks into the floor. Drive that back foot into the floor. Squeeze that left glute, tuck the pelvis, and shift forward even more. Good. Going to slowly come out. Ease off. Excellent. So, how is it going to segue into our first strength drill? We won't need the pad anymore. We're actually going to slowly work into a little bit of a different variation of a split squat here. But again, we're trying to focus on getting that hip extension and glute activation. So the position is going to be a little bit different. Now, typically, if you see some people do a split squat, you'll see either they're very even on both legs or they're shifted more towards that front leg, right? But instead here, I want to focus on actually shifting most of the weight on that back hip, okay? So, have my left foot forward, start my right foot back, okay? So you don't have to go that far down into this. So, I wanna have my left leg straight, okay? Now my hands are actually, I'm gonna have them here a little bit below where my shoulders are, or shoulder height, okay? I wanna have my back foot forward, okay? Now the first part of this, drive the sticks into the floor, about 60% tension, okay, feel like core activation. Now we're gonna squeeze that right glute. You're gonna feel a lot of stretch in the front of the hip. What I'm gonna do here, I'm going to start to drop that back knee down, but I'm gonna lean back. And I'm gonna really try to focus on driving my hips forward by squeezing my right glute. 3, 2, 1, I'm gonna slowly come up and out, ease off. Now again, it's a little bit of a weird position, but again, we're achieving that hip extended position by squeezing, contracting, forcing that glute so we can get better hip extension here, okay? We're gonna do 2 more repetitions. Drive the sticks down 60%. Squeeze that right glute, hard as you can, lean back, drop that back knee down, hold. 3, 2, 1, come back up, ease off. Good, one more time here, okay? Last one, then we'll switch sides. So, same thing, 60%, drive those sticks to the ground, squeeze that right glute, okay, get those hips to extension, drop that back knee down, wait to get to that maximum contraction, hold, 3, 2, 1, slowly come up, and ease off. Good, we'll switch sides. So you might get a little bit of a quad workout here as well, but again, we're just really trying to reinforce that proper glute activation here, okay? So, right leg is forward, okay? Got the sticks angled in towards me, hands still at the same height, okay? Ball and toes to that back foot here. I'm gonna do that same thing, 60%. Drive both sticks down, squeeze that left glute, lean back, drop that back knee down, hold. 3, 2, 1, slowly come back up, ease off. Good, okay? Let's get 2 more, okay? Drive the sticks down, squeeze that left glute, feel that hip get into extension, drop that back knee down, hold. 3, 2, 1, slowly come up, ease off. Excellent, one more time, okay? Last rep, drive both sticks down, squeeze that left glute, drive that back knee down, hold. 3, 2, 1, back up, and ease off. Excellent, good. So now what we're gonna do here, we're gonna focus on a hip hinging pattern. So we're gonna get into a single leg RDL, okay? However, the main focus isn't to really drive that leg back necessarily. It's to focus on activating the glutes and the hips, or the extensors of the hips, to get to that upright position and a little bit beyond here. So, I'm gonna have the sticks leverage into the wall here, okay? Now, my hands actually want to be in front of my body. Reason being is when I get up to this top position, I'm gonna actually shift back. Again, hip extension. So, I'm gonna start with my left leg first, or left foot down. So I wanna have an active foot. I wanna grab the ground with my left foot here. And I wanna drive the sticks back behind me, about 50% tension here. And I wanna keep control of my shoulders and rib cage. So I'm gonna hover that right foot off the floor, I'm gonna go back into a hinge, just a little bit. Good. From here, I wanna squeeze my glute, drive with that glute all the way to hip extension, lean back, hold. Good. Come back up to neutral. I'm gonna go back into do it again. A little bit of a hinge, drive with that glute. Try to feel that glute work. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Good. Back to neutral. Let's go 3 more. Hinge. Okay. Make sure you keep the knee over the midfoot. Squeeze those glutes. Come up. Drive, drive, drive. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Good. Back to neutral. Let's get 2 more here. Okay, drive the hips back. Good. Come up. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Excellent. Back to neutral. Last one here. Good. Hinge. Up. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Good. Back to neutral, ease off. So, probably gonna feel like the glute is really tired, probably also about to cramp, but we're also getting some footwork in there too, so we're getting a little bit of that balance aspect of it, okay? So now we're gonna focus on that right side. Let's see how it goes, okay? So, same thing, drive the sticks back, grab the ground with your right foot, bring that left foot up off the floor, gonna hinge back, get to that position, squeeze the glute, all the way to hip extension, squeeze, 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 lean back, good, back to neutral, go 4 more, hinge, keep it under control. Once you get to that good position where you feel that hip working, back up, squeeze, 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 squeeze all the way to hip extension. Good. Back to neutral. 3 more. Good. From here, squeeze. Drive the foot into the floor. Squeeze those glutes. Drive. Good. To neutral. 2 more. Hinge. Squeeze that glute, drive that foot into the floor, squeeze all the way to hip extension. Good. Back up. Last one. Squeeze. Oh, all the way to hip extension. 3, 2, 1, back up. Ease off. Excellent. Good. Okay. So now we're going to do here, we're going to focus on stretching out. We're going to loosen up those adductors here. Okay. We're also going to loosen up the glutes a little bit. Again, we're going to work on a little bit more rotation. Okay. So for the adductors, I'm going to need the pad again. What I want to do here is I'm going to start with my left knee down. Okay, I'm gonna have my right foot out to my side. So, what we're trying to focus on here, again, is opening up this adductor. So it's right adductor. So I wanna have both sticks resting on my shoulders here, okay? And I wanna have them pretty far out in front. So I wanna have this right foot pointed forward if I can. If you need to, you can point it out, but that'll kind of take away from the stretch a little bit. So try to have it pointed forward the best that you can. My back foot, I want to drive this left foot into the floor here, okay? Just really, really, really light. And what I'm going to do from here, I'm going to start to shift my hips back and reach forward towards the bottoms of the sticks. So I want to keep my right leg locked out here. Make sure you breathe. Good. I'm going to use my hands on the sticks. And I'm gonna pull on the sticks, driving it down towards the floor. Should get a little bit of a better stretch here. Good. I'm gonna slowly come up. Good. We're gonna do that 2 more times on this side, and we'll switch sides here. Okay. Keep the hands where they were at. Arms fully stretched out. Drive those hips back. Make sure that right leg remains straight. Once you get down to that bottom position, pull on the sticks. Feel that right adductor stretching out. You might even feel a little bit of hamstring. Good. Slowly come up. Good. One more time here. Okay. Drive those hips back. You get to that bottom position. Pull on the sticks. Drive down towards the floor. Breathe. Focus on your breathing here. 3, 2, 1. Slowly come up. Good. Ease off. So wiggle that right leg or right foot back in. All right, switch over to the other side. This left leg out, and also this leg should be going straight out, not forward, not behind, straight out right from the hip here, okay? So sticks are angled out directly in front, okay? We're gonna do that same thing. Arms stretched out, drive those hips back. Once you get down to that lowest position, pull on the sticks. Really want to drive and keep that left leg straight here. Good. Slowly come up. Excellent. Let's go 2 more here. Okay. Drive those hips back. Straighten out the legs. Pull the stick down towards the floor. Good. Slowly come up. Excellent. One more time. Drive those hips back. Good. Pull the sticks down toward the floor. Breathe. 3, 2, 1. Slowly come back up. Excellent. Again, wiggle that foot back in. Nice and slow. Good. Okay. So, now we're going to do here. So I'm actually going to use the bench as a way to focus on stretching out the glute. So, if you have a bench or something similar, this would be perfect. So, what I want to do here, I'm going to start with my left leg on the bench, and I actually want to keep my right leg back. So, what we're looking for here is looking to activate and stretch the external tissues on the glute, right? But also, with this back leg, we want to make sure we keep this hip into extension here. So we don't want the leg here or touching this leg or front leg. We want to keep that back leg back into extension here, okay? So what I want to do from here, so I want to make sure that I can drive that knee down. So I'm going to actively push that knee down a little bit, okay? The stick is angled in towards me, but I have the stick grip, or I'm gripping the stick at about face height here. Now, I can use my left hand to hold onto the bench for a little bit of support. And now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna hinge forward, driving the stick forward. And what we're looking for is a stretch on the glutes, okay? And the muscles on the hip. Again, focus on your breathing. Slowly come up. Good, ease off, okay? Let's go 2 more. drive that knee into the bench, okay? Hinge forward, reach forward with that right hand. This is like a modified pigeon stretch. That's all this is. Good. Slowly come back up. Excellent. Let's go one more time. Okay. Keep driving that knee down. Reach forward. Three, two, one. Slowly come up. Excellent. Ease off and switch sides. So the good thing about this is you don't have to focus on getting up and off the floor. However, you can easily manipulate the knee angle as much as you'd like, or manipulate that back foot, okay? So, same thing. Stick is angled in towards me. Hand is roughly about face height here. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna drive that right knee down. Okay, I'm gonna hinge forward, reaching forward, and I'm trying to get my chest to this knee. Good. Slowly come back up. Good. Two more. Keep driving that knee down. Good, hold, make sure you're breathing. Slowly come back up. Excellent, let's go one more time. So driving that knee down. Three, two, one, slowly come back up. Excellent. Ease off. Good. Okay. So now we're going to do here. Going to move this out. So we're going to get into almost like this, think about an adductor hamstring stretch. We're going to get into that right now. So almost kind of similar to the stretch we did, the first stretch that we did, is we're going to take a wide stance, as wide as whatever's comfortable for you, okay? So, sticks are going to be on our shoulders here, okay? And I'll actually turn from the side so you can kind of see how my body moves here, okay? So for this, I do want a slightly toe out angle. Okay, we're trying to open up those adductors, okay? So, from here what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna have my hands placed on the stick, okay? If you're out wide, I want to keep my knees soft here. I don't want to lock my knees. I'm going to start to shift my hips back, reaching down towards the bottom of the stick here. So at the point where you feel a stretch in your hamstrings and adductors, hold that position, focus on breathing through it. Good. Now I'm going to do here, I'm going to grip the stick roughly about where my shoulder is, and I'm going to drive the sticks out, and I want to try to maintain as neutral of a spine as I possibly can. Again, make sure you're breathing. Good. I'm going to bring the sticks back to my shoulders. I'm going to slowly come up. Excellent. Now I'm going to go a little bit wider on my stance here. So I'm going to wiggle my feet out just a little bit more, okay? So again, we're going for a little bit of a bigger stretch here, okay? So I'm going to have the sticks angled out. Do that same thing. So soft knees, drive my hips back, reaching my hands down towards the bottom of the stick here. Okay, once you get to that stretch position, hold. Focus on your breathing. Now we're going to rock back and forth. So I'm going to shift my weight forward. I'm going to shift my weight back. So I was working in and out of that stretch. Shift my weight hips forward, shift my hips back. Breathe in, shift forward. Breathe out, shift back. 2 more. Breathe in, shift forward. Out and shift back. 1 more time. Breathe in. Out. Place your hands right where your shoulders are. Reach those hands straight out. Breathe. Bring the six back down to the shoulders. Okay, slowly come up. Excellent. Wiggle your feet in. Nice and slow. Excellent, good. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna finish off with one last drill. We're gonna focus on a little bit of rotation here, okay? So, with this is kind of a little bit more of a flow drill, right? So, I'm gonna take about roughly a shoulder width stance, maybe a little bit wider. Feet are gonna be facing forward, okay? What I wanna do from here is I'm gonna start by actually having those sticks in line with my mid toe of both feet. Hands are roughly about shoulder height here, okay? Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lightly drive the sticks into the floor and I'm gonna rotate to one side with one stick and then the other stick's gonna follow in pursuit like so, okay? But I wanna keep my hips facing forward, okay? Right hand comes back up and over and then I'm gonna rotate to my right, left hand follows in pursuit. So it's almost like a windshield wiper blade, okay? Left hand comes up and over. Good, right hand follows. Good, right hand comes out and over. Left hand follows. Again, just kind of see how it is a flow, right? Go back to the left. Six are just following right behind one another. Rotate to the other side. Do your best to keep those hips facing forward. Rotate to the left. Good. Rotate to the right one last time. Good. Back to center. And relax. Excellent. And that concludes today's Stick Mobility class. Thank you again, everybody, for joining me for today's class. I hope everybody had fun. I'll be sure to catch you guys on the next one. Have a good day.